The drug war has entered a new phase. Cartel strongholds across Mexico are being pounded by U.S. airpower and cutting-edge drone strikes. Once considered untouchable, their fortified compounds are collapsing under relentless precision attacks. This is no longer shadow warfare. It's an open campaign to dismantle their networks at the core. Can the cartels survive this sustained onslaught? Join us as we uncover how U.S. forces are tearing apart the Mexico cartel's last lines of defense. Recent intelligence has revealed that President Donald Trump quietly authorized the U.S. military to engage cartel organizations with lethal force. Though not publicly disclosed, the New York Times reported on August 22nd that Trump signed a classified order delivered to the Pentagon. The document establishes both the legal authority and operational framework for potential military action against cartels that the U.S. has designated as terrorist entities. According to Pentagon sources, the authorization could empower the military to conduct precision operations at sea and on foreign soil, extending its reach far beyond traditional borders. Officials are considering strategies that include deploying naval destroyers to target cartel leaders and infrastructure, and coordinating with Mexican authorities to dismantle criminal networks. Experts describe the move as a bold shift in U.S. strategy, potentially redefining cross-border military engagement. One option under review involves establishing forward operating bases and safe houses in Mexico, with approval to stage targeted raids or capture missions against cartel operatives. Signs of preparation are already visible. In April, the U.S. deployed 2 destroyers linked to border security operations. The USS Gravely entered the Gulf of Mexico, while the USS Spruance was dispatched from San Diego to support operations along the West Coast. Analysts at the Center for Strategic and International Studies noted that the deployments signaled U.S. commitment to border protection, though not necessarily kinetic action. Mexico did not object, and Cuba was the only country to raise concerns. In light of Trump's authorization, however, the positioning of these vessels takes on new weight. Experts suggest they may have been strategically placed to allow immediate military action once approval was granted. The timing, scale, and targets of any operation remain uncertain, likely secret until the first steps are carried out. At the same time, new intelligence confirms that the Central Intelligence Agency is flying MQ-9 Reaper drones inside Mexican airspace. These covert flights launched under the Biden administration and now expand to track cartel movements and hunt for clandestine fentanyl production sites. The MQ-9 Reaper isn't just another drone, it is a purpose-built hunter, engineered to stalk targets across continents and strike with surgical precision. A full Reaper system isn't a single aircraft, but an ecosystem. Multiple drones in the sky, a ground control station wired into global intelligence networks, and crews of pilots, sensor operators, and mission coordinators pulling every feed into one lethal machine. Powered by a 950 horsepower turboprop engine, the Reaper can stay on station for over a day, more than 30 hours of surveillance, or 20 plus even with a full weapons load. With its 66-foot wingspan, 1,000 nautical mile range, and ability to loiter at 25,000 feet, it doesn't just arrive, it endures, circling like a predator in the sky. Its surveillance capabilities are unmatched. The multispectral targeting suite blends infrared, daylight, and image-intensified video, paired with a laser designator for guiding its own strikes or calling in others. Its Lynx radar peers through clouds, smoke, and darkness, mapping the ground in high resolution and tracking moving convoys in real time. Outfitted with the Gorgon Stare package, a single Reaper can monitor an entire city, hundreds of cameras generating billions of pixels, recording everything from one corner of the battlespace to the other. Upgrades have only sharpened its edge. Extended range variants push flight endurance past 40 hours with external fuel tanks. Reinforced landing gear and redesigned propellers allow heavier payloads, operations from rougher airstrips, and faster turnaround times. Advanced software lets it track a dozen moving targets at once and ripple-fire missiles in fractions of a second. Even its automatic takeoff and landing system has hardened what was once a fragile drone into a durable war machine. Though the MQ-9s flying over Mexico are currently unarmed, they were designed from the start to carry precision-guided weapons and advanced sensors. Beyond CIA operations, the U.S. military has intensified aerial surveillance along the southern border and in international airspace near Mexico. Assets observed include the Navy's P-8A Poseidon, the Air Force's RC-135 VW rivet joint, and the high-altitude U-2 Dragon Lady. General Gregory Guillot confirmed that these platforms collect intelligence and share it with federal agencies and Mexican counterparts to disrupt trafficking networks and target fentanyl infrastructure. The P-8A Poseidon is at the center of this surveillance mission. Based on the Boeing 737-800 ERX airframe, it looks like a commercial airliner but has been extensively modified for military use. Built with reinforced wings from the 737-900 and a strengthened fuselage from Spirit Aerosystems, the aircraft also carries a short bomb bay behind the wings for torpedoes and other stores. Its raked wingtips, borrowed from the 767-400ER, replace civilian-style blended winglets, while electromechanical expulsion systems prevent icing across its wings and stabilizers. The cockpit has been reconfigured with more responsive controls, expanded bank angles, and an upgraded autothrottle to handle aggressive low-altitude maneuvering. Each of its CFM56 engines is fitted with a 180 kVA generator, double the output of civilian 737s, to power its heavy suite of sensors and electronics. The result is a platform that the Navy says offers smoother rides, less turbulence, and reduced fumes compared to its predecessor, the P-3 Orion, keeping crews more focused during long missions. Inside, the Poseidon is fitted with 5 operator stations along the port side of the cabin, 2 naval flight officers, and 3 enlisted air crewmen, supported by 2 observer windows at the front. Behind the wing, the aircraft carries a short bomb bay for torpedoes, including the high-altitude anti-submarine warfare weapon capability. This system allows a Mark 54 torpedo to be released from as high as 30,000 feet, essentially turning it into a precision glide bomb. The P-8's primary sensor is the Raytheon APY-10 multi-mission radar, designed for surface search and maritime surveillance. Though most variants lack a magnetic anomaly detector, the Indian P-8I was delivered with one at New Delhi's request. Sensor data are fused in real time, providing crews with a detailed operational picture. Ongoing upgrades have replaced the older littoral surveillance radar system with the more advanced airborne sensor package, extending the P-8's reach and fidelity. The Poseidon also works in tandem with the MQ-4C Triton unmanned aerial vehicle, which provides persistent high-altitude surveillance. Boeing has proposed a dedicated signals intelligence variant, further expanding the P-8's mission profile. Meanwhile, projects like the high-altitude ASW unmanned targeting air system aim to develop deployable sub-hunting UAVs that can be launched directly from the Poseidon itself. The Poseidon carries 6 auxiliary fuel tanks, extending its endurance on station. Together with the RC-135 rivet joint, which specializes in signals intelligence, and the U-2 Dragon Lady, which operates at the edge of the stratosphere, the P-8 forms part of a layered surveillance web. These aircraft ensure that U.S. intelligence agencies and Mexican counterparts have a continuous flow of data on cartel movements, trafficking routes, and fentanyl infrastructure. Analysts at the war zone note that deploying ISR platforms, such as the rivet joint, signaled escalation. Still, the addition of covert CIA drones inside Mexican airspace, especially without coordination, marks a sharper increase in intensity. In Mexico, the response has been cautious. President Claudia Sheinbaum dismissed the revelations as part of this little campaign while ordering 10,000 additional military personnel to the northern border. Defense Minister Ricardo Trevilla voiced more profound concern, warning that espionage could not be ruled out since the full scope of U.S. operations remains unclear. Analysts believe airstrikes using drones or standoff weapons would be the most likely first step if the U.S. escalates. Yet Mexican cartels present serious challenges. Many possess modern arms, use drones for attacks, operate narco-tanks, and maintain fortified positions with strong local networks. The find and fix approach used in Iraq and Afghanistan could be adapted to cartel leadership. Still, any operation without Mexican approval would lack legal cover and expose U.S. personnel to greater risks if captured. In recent months, the United States has significantly intensified its military presence along the border with Mexico. By April, reports indicated that as many as 10,000 U.S. troops were deployed along the frontier, a sharp increase from the 2,500 stationed there under former President Joe Biden. Alongside the aerial platforms now operating along the U.S.-Mexico border, ground forces have also been reinforced with heavy military hardware. Among the most notable additions are Stryker armored vehicles, machines previously deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan that are now appearing in patrol formations. By June, roughly 100 of these vehicles had been introduced into active use. Their arrival represents a significant escalation in ground mobility and firepower along the border, giving patrols both greater protection and greater deterrence. The Stryker itself is derived from the LAV-3 light armored vehicle, a development of the earlier LAV-25 series. It is an 8-wheeled armored fighting vehicle designed with versatility in mind, produced in a range of variants that share standard components such as the engine, transmission, hydraulics, wheels, and transfer case. This modularity reduces the logistical burden for maintenance and allows mechanics trained on one version to service others with minimal retraining. Certain specialized types, such as the M1130 command vehicle and the M1133 medical evacuation variant, carry unique modifications, including enhanced power generation and built-in air conditioning systems. Many of the vehicle's systems, from its drivetrain to its suspension, are pneumatically or hydraulically actuated, and technicians can quickly swap or repair major components thanks to modular construction. An engine and transmission can be removed and replaced in as little as 2 hours, making it possible to keep frontline units operational with minimal downtime even under heavy use. Each Stryker is networked with computers that track friendly and enemy positions, dramatically reducing the risk of fratricide while improving tactical awareness. Both the driver and commander rely on advanced optics to maintain situational awareness without exposing themselves through hatches. The commander in particular has access to day-night thermal imaging, providing near-total visibility of the surrounding battle space. This capability is augmented by thermal sighting systems that can detect targets out to nearly 8,000 feet, far beyond the range of dismounted infantry night vision gear, allowing crews to warn foot soldiers of threats long before they are visible on the ground. The Army has steadily refined the Stryker's visual and targeting systems. The ANV-AS5 Driver's Vision Enhancer, a compact thermal camera, provides reliable performance even in smoke, dust, or fog, while the newer DVE-wide system fitted to the infantry carrier vehicle Dragoon variant offers a sweeping 107-degree field of view. Cameras mounted around the hull create a seamless 360-degree image, stabilized against shock and vibration, giving crews an immersive awareness of their surroundings. Integration with the Army's Integrated Visual Augmentation System allows both drivers and dismounted infantry to see the same stitched-together image of the battlefield, effectively erasing blind spots and letting soldiers practice tactics inside virtual simulators mounted directly in the vehicle. Protection has always been central to the Stryker's mission profile. The hull, made of high-hardness steel, offers basic protection against heavy machine gun fire and artillery fragments. This is supplemented with ceramic composite armor capable of defeating armor-piercing rounds up to 14.5 millimeters. To counter rocket-propelled grenades, the Army experimented with slat armor. These metal cages detonate RPGs before they strike the main armor, and later with reactive armor tiles that explode outward to neutralize incoming warheads. Though heavy, these add-on kits greatly improve survivability in Iraq and Afghanistan, where RPG ambushes were common. For even greater resilience, hull protection kits, armored skirts, and ballistic shields have been developed to resist improvised, explosive devices in small-scale attacks. In real combat, the Stryker has demonstrated better resistance to roadside bombs than lighter military vehicles. The Army has also tested advanced camouflage systems that not only alter the vehicle's appearance to match terrain, but also reduce its thermal, radar, and infrared signatures. Although experiments with the Iron Curtain active protection system, which intercepts projectiles inches from the hull, were eventually shelved, the push toward equipping Strykers with modular active defense technologies continues, underscoring the Army's intent to keep the platform survivable in increasingly lethal environments. Armament varies by variant, but most strikers mount the Protector remote weapon station, which can be armed with a heavy .50 caliber machine gun, a 7.62 millimeter machine gun, or a 40 millimeter grenade launcher. This allows gunners to fire accurately while remaining safely inside the armor. In recent years, upgrades have expanded the vehicle's arsenal. Stinger missile launchers mounted on strikers have demonstrated short-range air defense capability, turning what was once an infantry carrier into a mobile anti-air platform. Likewise, the integration of FGM-148 Javelin launchers has allowed crews to target armored threats without relying on dismounted troops. The most ambitious upgunning has come with the introduction of the 30 millimeter cannon on the Dragoon variant. Using Kongsberg's remote turret system, these weapons can fire airburst munitions, capable of striking enemies behind cover or engaging light armored vehicles at ranges up to 3,000 meters. Ammunition types include armor-piercing sabot rounds and new high-explosive airburst projectiles, such as the XM1182, which can detonate above, within, or beyond structures, depending on mission requirements. These advancements transform the Striker from a simple armored carrier into a versatile fighting vehicle, capable of both supporting infantry and countering aerial or mechanized threats. Alongside the Striker, other heavy assets have been cited, including the M109 self-propelled howitzer, one of the mainstays of American artillery for decades. Produced by BAE Systems, the M109 is a tracked, armored artillery piece weighing over 27 tons and manned by a 6-person crew consisting of a commander, driver, gunner, and 3 ammunition specialists. Its role is to deliver rapid, sustained fire support while keeping pace with armored and mechanized formations. The M109 is powered by a Detroit Diesel 8V71T engine coupled to an Allison cross-drive transmission, giving it a top speed of 35 miles per hour and a range of just over 200 miles. Built from welded aluminum armor, it provides basic protection against small arms and shrapnel, enough to safeguard the crew during bombardments while remaining light enough for maneuver warfare. The driver sits forward on the left side of the hull, with periscopes providing forward visibility and optional night vision equipment for low-light operations. The turret, mounted at the rear, traverses fully and houses the primary weapon system, the 155 millimeter M126 howitzer. This gun, fitted with a fume extractor and muzzle brake, has an effective firing range of 10 miles and can fire up to 6 rounds per minute. Its recoil system is hydropneumatic, while the breech uses a well-in-step thread block for secure loading and firing. Hydraulic systems control elevation and traverse, but manual overrides are available in case of system failure. The crew operates in tight coordination, with ammunition specialists feeding shells through rear doors and the commander directing fire through telescopic and panoramic sights. For stabilization during high-charge firing, a spade at the rear of the hull is lowered into the ground, anchoring the vehicle and ensuring accuracy. Mobility is supported by torsion bar suspension with 7 dual road wheels per side, along with tracked propulsion designed to handle rough terrain. Though not amphibious by default, the M109 can be outfitted with flotation bags that allow it to cross rivers at low speeds. Like the Striker, it lacks integrated nuclear, biological, and chemical defense, but it has been upgraded over time with better optics, digital fire control, and extended-range munitions. Despite being designed decades ago, it remains the standard self-propelled howitzer in U.S. service, constantly modernized to meet new battlefield requirements. This militarization has sparked debate. The BBC says that in April 2024, only 8,000 people were detained at the border, a dramatic drop of 94% compared with the 128,000 detained during the same month in 2024. Critics argue that such a sharp decline raises questions about the necessity of this military buildup. Supporters counter that the visible presence of troops and equipment serves as a deterrent, contributing directly to the reduction in crossings. Regardless of interpretation, the escalation clearly signals that the use of military force to address cartel activity has been under serious consideration within the U.S. government for some time. The U.S. has also placed bounties totaling $28 million on 5 leaders of Carteles Unidos, payable upon their arrest and conviction in any country. This strategy introduces an element of internal disruption within the cartel, as it creates the potential for distrust and competition among members. Such divisions could weaken the organization, making it easier for U.S. military forces to act when the time comes, while also disrupting day-to-day cartel operations. Errors and miscalculations are more likely to occur in a fractured organization, and this may be an intended consequence of the strategy. Official statements have been limited, and the Department of Defense has declined to comment, leaving many operational details unconfirmed. What is clear, however, is that Trump's order, combined with the ongoing militarization of the border, the repositioning of naval assets, and the targeted bounties, represents a substantial escalation from previous strategies. By framing cartels as terrorist organizations, the U.S. creates a legal pathway for potential military measures, while simultaneously maintaining the argument that intervention is necessary to protect American lives. The combination of escalating deaths, international drug trafficking, and existing legal mechanisms forms the backbone of the rationale for a decisive, forceful response to the cartel threat. As of May 2025, reports indicate that the Sinaloa cartel, once led by the notorious figure El Chapo, is showing signs of fragmentation due to internal conflict and gang warfare. This internal instability could present an opportunity for U.S. forces, should ground operations be authorized. A coordinated strategy might target cartel leadership, while naval forces disrupt operations at sea, aiming to create internal disorder and weaken organizational structures. By focusing on emerging leaders and destabilizing the chain of command, the U.S. could potentially amplify infighting and internal collapse within these groups. Thanks for watching. Before you go, click the link on your screen to check out another video. See you there.